Hi, this is Dr. Mike Yuen. I'd like to devote this clip to examining in more detail the left chushou of Yang Sau Chung that we've been discussing in previous clips in the turn body and strike back with the fist and step forward and parry and punch. As much as it would seem the logical thing to just emulate it, because he represents the standard. From what I experienced, the Yang family approach is much more sophisticated than that. I take you back to episode 2 in that first encounter with Grandmaster Yang Sau Chung and the meeting with his family in 1981. And I'd said that when they began to give me corrections, the first thing that struck me was, why were the movements so different from what I had been instructed to do by his disciple, Jin Sun Chu? I think any of us would have reacted that way. But it's one thing to note differences. Another thing would be to outright reject what I had learned before and simply adopt the new way. Would seal it in terms of my concept of what was right and what I should be doing. But the Yang family system is a developmentally based system. They understood that in order to achieve the highest grade or quality of the Fan Tan Li, that it would require a graded step-by-step approach, pretty much like you would teach a child. So we all understand the concept, but rarely have I seen any discussion on the treatment of the Yang style Taiji form in that light as a developmental process. For those of you who have learned from direct descendants of Grandmaster Yang's lineage, and for those of you who've studied the different variations of the different teachers on the internet, remember, it's all out there for us to see right now. Trying to understand why different lines under different teachers do that move a particular way. I think this can shed some light on the logic behind the different grades of corrections. That as much as I'm encouraging you to, of course, experiment with Grandmaster Yang's way, we need to apply our intelligence and understand that how he holds his left hand by his shoulder and ear is an end attainment that you and I would have to build up to. In other words, just by wholesale adopting that way may not get the results we're after in terms of total body power development, because it is taking place in the upper register of the body, whereas the version that Jin Sun Chu was taught held the left hand low by the hip and then brought up. So the first way of learning to chushou involves letting the hand relax, the elbow and the shoulder relax down, and then bringing it naturally up in front of the body. Whereas Grandmaster Yang, as we can clearly see, forgoes that lower register by the hip and keeps the hand pretty much at the level of the shoulder before coming out. So what does this tell us? It tells us that they understood that it's important to develop the lower power first. The hand is held low and it's allowed to naturally find its way out in front of the body. What I'd like to invite you to do with this information is go back to your online searches, especially prominent teachers who you happen to be attracted to or connected to or interested in, and key in on their left chushou. And what I think you're going to find interesting is that the most popular ways of the left chushou lies somewhere in between the hand held first at the hip and Grandmaster Yang's way, where he brings it from the shoulder straight forward. And in addition to that, please remember to maintain that distinction between doing the form for the sake of application. In other words, the reason you're moving your body a certain way is because it has a certain practical application, versus doing it primarily for the sake of developing the Fan Tan Li. I feel it's really important to set up this dialogue and to focus on it so that we can move on to other aspects of the body. Okay, thanks for watching again. I really appreciate all the great feedback that I've gotten. It's very inspirational knowing that over the many years that I've been sitting with this on my own, that I really wasn't alone. Okay, I'll see you next time.